It is 76 days to the 2023 general election. Good afternoon and welcome to Standpoint. I am Ademola Lawrence. The March 11th governorship election in Lagos State promises to be an exciting one, given the candidates vying for the top job. For the candidate of the All Progressive Congress and incumbent, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, he says he's confident of victory, as residents of Lagos are ready, of course, to maybe endorse him for the second term, given his track record of his administration so far. And of course, I have in the studio the Director General, APC Lagos State, Senator Ganiu Solomon, to talk about this in the course of the show. Welcome and thank you for joining us on the show.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon.
Yeah, so to just go straight to the point, why should over 7 million registered voters in Lagos vote for Governor Sanwo-Olu?
Well, I expect them to vote for Governor Sanwo-Olu because he made good his promise. And he's also coming from the APC, All Progressive Congress. And we have the people coming from that party as they make good their promises. And when Sanwo-Olu was vying for this position in 2019, he came with a team agenda, which comprises of what he intends to do for the populace. And if you take them one by one, he has covered virtually all the agenda in the team. And for him, he's shown that he's to be trusted with the power by making sure that whatever he says, he make good that promise. And it's coming from APC. And we know that before you emerge the candidate of APC, it must be a hell of a struggle. And for him to have emerged again for the election, it means that he should be given that trust by the people. And I believe that he's going to do very well. You
know, you talked about the fact that before you emerged the candidate of APC
right.
for the second term.
That's right.
And there were rumors out there, so now it's even better that you can help clear. You know, there were rumors that some members of your party, before the primaries, I'm talking before the primaries of the governorship election, some members of your party had alleged that probably it wasn't going to be Governor Sanwo-Olu to be given the ticket. You remember that there were different primaries in different venues on that day?
No. There was only one primaries.
That was recognized by INEC?
Yes, that was recognized by INEC. We may have some people thinking that, okay, let's show our face. Maybe we'll be given certain things. I don't know about that. But if you go by the position of the party, coupled with the position of INEC, this is where the primaries are going to be held, and anything outside that cannot become primaries. Anyway, that has gone, and,
exactly.
And he eventually emerged. And I believe that is the surest best of Lagosians to vote to re-elect him into that position.
Okay, let's look at the team agenda of the governor.
That's right.
And you look at, he talked about education, he talked about transport.
That's right.
He talked about entertainment.
That's right, yes.
So if you look at this team agenda and looking at the first 4 years, about to complete his first 4 years
That's right.
in this administration, do you think that your party is that popular? Looking at what happened, during the enters and all of those things, do you think that your party is still as popular as it was going back dates 2015, 2019 into 2019 general election, now going into 2023 election?
Well, if you go through the team agenda, you will discover that Governor Sanwo-Olu has touched every part of the team agenda. He set it up himself, and he has followed it to the letter. And by whether people will like to vote for him based on that, I believe if you have a candidate and he promises to do certain things based on certain ideas or ideologies, you have to mark him as against those things. So he has done his best, and his best is really good. And let's take the SARS and the SARS
the EndSARS
issue,
matter.
EndSARS matter. We've discovered that it was really not something that came from a popular origin. We had some people taking part in it. I mean, if you consider those things that were done during the EndSARS, buses burnt, houses burnt, a lot of things vandalized. That was not the idea of EndSARS. The idea of EndSARS was, okay, we don't want SARS. I mean, it could have come like that and went on smoothly. But some people, I believe, hijacked the EndSARS issues. And the governor himself set up the judicial panel of inquiry to look at it. Everybody is free to come and tender his or her own view about it. So whatever that was done was put into the public glare, which means that he had nothing to hide. It's even a plus for him because the EndSARS issue plus the COVID matter, I mean, showed that you could undo any matter coming along with his administrative role, and he rose up to it. And don't forget the COVID thing. He handled the COVID thing. That is why most people call him Mr.
Incident
manager, because he rose up to that occasion. And it's like it never happened after a while. And he rose up to every particular issue. And the issue of economy, people shouting, the issue of economy is not peculiar to Lagos alone. It's not peculiar to Nigeria alone. It's a global thing. What is happening here is happening in the UK, is happening in the US, it's happening everywhere. So for anybody to handle such a situation right now, you should be given the kudos for it.
You know, some people will not agree with you when you give reasons like the part of EndSARS, and of course, as a result of that, managing EndSARS and managing COVID-19.
Yes.
Due to some of these things, you are giving excuse that managing economy is not that easy. But it would, some people would also give into that excuse that if there was proper planning, by the state, probably these things could have been averted. But going forward, I want to ask, it's a different ballgame when you have policies and government is, infrastructure is going on all around Lagos. But the man on the streets needs to feel that pulse and knows that what can put food on his table is what matters to him or her.
Okay, yes.
How do you think that, do you think that the policies that this administration, the Sanwo-Olu administration, have been able to put food on the table of residents of Lagos too? There's the matter of area boys. It's not something that we can shy away from in Lagos. Some people will say area boys are there, they collect money from here. How do you think this government is head-on taking those matters seriously?
Well, we take the issue of the economy first. I've said that the economy nosediving is not really a Lagos matter alone. But by then you also want to look at what has the government done in that regards. The government has done quite a lot by providing job opportunities, by giving the younger ones, the younger elements, the money to do certain things, by training them, and by also making sure that whatever money that is made is turned back into the particular economy. And just to make sure that everything goes on the way it's supposed to go. And we also look at the issue of the area boys. I really don't know what you mean by area boys, because anywhere you go, you see boys making groups and so on and so forth. The fact that...
maybe I should put it into the proper perspective.
Yes.
Some says that area boys sometimes constitute this, unfriendly atmosphere, which makes the security of lives and property more difficult, even for government that is supposed to be handling it, more difficult for them. So that's what I'm saying. How do you think this government can begin to handle that? Because it's something that we cannot shy away from.
Well, I believe in Lagos State, yes, we have some boys. They may think, most of them do not constitute any danger to the economy or to the populace at large. You may have them sitting maybe weekends, doing whatever they are doing, but they don't constitute any danger to the areas. If you look at the population of Lagos State and you want to go by that to calculate the security incidences that are happening, you believe that Lagos is still more secured than most states in the country. And yes, the Lagos State government has embarked on several things to make sure that the younger ones, the younger elements, are given opportunities to develop themselves by encouraging them. They have vocational services everywhere. All the local governments have vocational services where most of them are trained. And not only trained, they are given money and at times instruments for their job, which they have done. All these are done to make sure that the younger ones are taken off the streets so that they don't fall into the hands of maybe the NSAS elements and make use of them negatively.
Okay, let's talk about health. Because that's one aspect that almost every Nigeria is very critical of, the area of primary health, which also falls under the purview of the Lagos state government. You go to majority of our health centers. Majority, that's why I put the word majority. Majority of our health centers, the basic amenities that are supposed to be found, you can't find them there. And when you want to go when the poor man on the street wants to go get proper health, it's not going to be easy for that person to go to an expensive hospital. So that means that they need the basic amenities to be provided in the health center. Looking at this administration, do you think that they have fulfilled that part of their team agenda?
That's right.
And if they have, if peradventure they have not, what are the things that the plans to get them done next year if elected? Well,
I believe they've done that aspect of the team agenda. Let me quickly remind you that the population of Lagos State in 2019 is not the same thing as the population of Lagos State now. We have a huge number of people living in Lagos, and nobody is really complaining. But the government, a visionary government, will make sure that they develop as more people get into Lagos. And how do they develop? And the government of Sanwo-Olu, for instance, is planning to make sure that some of the primary health centers are turned into general hospital, just to meet the yearnings of Lagosians. And I believe that 4 or 5 of them have already been done, and they have on record to do more, so that by the end of the day, as the people keep on coming to Lagos State, the government, is the duty of the government to make sure that they develop equally. So that is why most of these primary health centers are being turned into general hospitals, so that they will meet the people. And apart from the general hospital, they are also looking at the mother-child hospital, so as to meet the yearnings of these people. So I believe they are doing well. And that is why Sanwo-Olu is saying that the team agenda, and don't forget, it is during 3.5 years that we're talking about that the COVID thing came about, and that the NSAS thing came about, and that we have this world economy, almost
downtown.
Yes, and despite everything, is also at the top of it, making sure that everything is done well. So he has also made the promise that, look, he's not going to stop, because we know that a lot of people will continue to come to Lagos. And you cannot say, yes, I cannot perform because we have so many people. No, it's rising to it. As they are rising, is also on top of it.
Okay, I'd like us to talk about the issue of traffic congestion in Lagos.
Yes.
It's a menace.
Yes.
It's indeed a menace.
Yeah.
And there are some roads that are very bad.
Yes.
And sometimes when probably when the Lagos State is having, let me just give you an example. When Lagos State is having a program and they tell you divert to this particular.
That's right, yes.
When they tell you those diversion, those roads that it divert you to, majority of them are very bad. So in terms of traffic, reducing traffic in Lagos.
Yes.
I know that the government is trying to do different roads at different times.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's really telling on the people, how do you think that they can be able to give a succor? Because there must be something that is an alternative, a verifiable alternative, if they are doing this other one.
Well, maybe I should just say that we have to keep on with the government, the way they are doing their things. And the way they are doing their things, they've made opportunities available for them to. That is why they do the traffic management by giving out traffic
advisories.
Advisories that for this particular time and from this period to this period, this is the way you can go. This will make the traffic situation easier for them. And it happens once in a while, not every day. And the government is willing, by coming out en masse, to make sure that, look, if these roads are bad, we cannot wait for us to repair a particular road before we go into another particular road. It's going to be a time, there's going to be a time limit, because at the end of the day, when all the roads, you can't do all the roads anyway. When most of the roads are done, it will be a job well done for all Lagosians. And you've come under transport. And they are also aware that you cannot do all roads and believe that with the population of Lagosians that you've done the best for them. So that is why they are planning the railway lines, the blue and the red lines. And they've gone so very far as far as that thing is concerned. Because if you don't have mass transportation in Lagos State, whatever you have will become naught by the end of the day. And so that is why they are introducing the blue and the red lines. And they are saying that the blue and the red lines, maybe by February or something, they'll be online for everybody to board. So tapping into the team's agenda of the transportation management and so on and so forth, I believe it is a well-organized agenda.
Let's talk about in terms of accountability.
Yes.
Yeah. Your party has been in government in Lagos since 1999.
That's right.
And some persons have said, in terms of accountability, yes, the statistics are saying that when your party was there, it was 600 million. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu took it to 5 billion, and it keeps on increasing.
That's
but
right.
Some persons have also said, looking at the kind of money that Lagos State is generating, there should be more progress, infrastructure-wise, social security should be more compared to, and at the same time, they're saying, are they really giving the exact amount of what they are saying it is?
Well, they will keep on guessing from the way you've stated the points. Because when we have Governor Bola Ahmed Tinubu from 600 to 5 billion and so on and so forth, you also see progress of jobs done, progressing in such a way. I mean, there's no way any other state will venture into the railway line business without having huge amount of money. You cannot even go about it alone. And that is why you see them even going out to borrow. And the Fort Mainland Bridge that they are also planning to go about. So the money they make is not about putting the money somewhere and not using it. They are using every part of the money. Look, they have Kai, they have LASMA, and they have everything. All these things cost money because you have people engaged. You have people employed, and they are engaged in this particular, in all their various lines. So when this money had been taken, they are being spent out again, so that people will have succor that, yes, the money that we are paying is being used judiciously. So it's not about people collecting money and we don't see what the money is being used for. And if anybody believes that is so, it should come out with the facts to say that, yes, they've collected this amount of money, where are they using it? I'm sure they will give every bit of information they require.
What more is Governor Sanwo-Olu bringing on board for his second term?
Well,
if re-elected.
He will be re-elected by God's grace. He will be re-elected. Okay. And what do you want? What he will bring out is the team plus. Because he came up with a team that I'm giving you the team agenda. And they bought into it and they voted for him. And he's coming back to say, yes, we are still going ahead with the team, but with another plus. Because there's no way you will come up with an agenda and you will finish all the agenda by yourself. You must continue. So that is where the plus comes in. And if you need transport management, there must still be a lot of transport management that you still need to do. Education, health, and so on and so forth. So that is where the plus comes in.
So I'm going to ask you this question because it's a question that, residents of Lagos, it's almost on the lips of residents of Lagos. The issue of what is the role of the Governing Advisory Council. It's something that is everywhere. And so people have asked that question over time. Some says, in Yoruba, they call them, they say they are for budget, the kingmakers. Mm. Some says that, what they do is just to go to Alausa, collect money and, now that you're here, and I'm also aware that you are part of that Governor Advisory Council.
That's right.
What exactly is their job and what are they supposed to be doing?
Thank you very much. First, the name itself explains everything. It's a Governor's Advisory Council. So they are there just to make advices and nothing more. They don't have any office at Alausa or anywhere. If they have office, that means you have office in your house. So they don't have anything to do with policy making. They can come up with, well, we learned you are doing this thing. This is what people are saying outside. So this is the way you should go about it. So as simple as that. There's nothing... there's nothing to hold them about. Some people are saying that they go to make money and so on. So I'm yet to see any money that is being made because there's no money for them to make. They are purely advisory, and that is what they do. And if you look at the ages of those people in the council, you agree with me that they have several years of experience. Some dated back to the first Republic, some to the Second Republic. And with that kind of experience, you need to gather them and they will continue to guide the governor, whoever the governor is, and they guide him, and that is as far as they go. And the governor may take it and may not take it, but it will be very wise for any governor to take their advices because they have been shown that to be the true advices that Lagosians really want.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you this question, and that has to do with, there's this talk that Lagos has a template that must be followed.
Yes.
And that template was, facilitated and created by Asiwaju. After he was elected in 1999. That means that he had already had that vision. 1999 down to the previous governors that have come after him, the Fasholas of this world, the Ambode, and of course Governor Sanwo-Olu.
That's right.
And some people have said, if Asiwaju is the one who have led this thing, does it mean that the people, the governors that have come in Lagos, are they at his beck and call at any time? Do you think that is the true state of things?
No. When Asiwaju was elected the governor of Lagos State, he gathered some people. Some of them he did not even know. He just let's look at education. Who are the big shots? Who calls the shots at education? He brought them together. Let's look at health. He brought them together. Let's look at legal profession. He brought them together. Now he's saying that, look, come together, give me the best ideas on how to run the state. So they came up differently. They came up with the template that, look, if these are pursued, this is where Lagos is going to be in the next maybe 25 years, maybe 30 years. And he followed the template. So now we had a template that is presented to every successive governor. It's now for you to look at the variance. Like, look, maybe my area will be transport, that I will play more, emphasis. And by doing that, this is where you will get. Because those people that were chosen in the initial stage were not known, even to themselves. They were not friends. They were just picked from different sectors of the different angles of the sectors. So to come together and bring out the best. And what they've come about, if it is pursued, is bringing out the best for Lagos State. Because nobody has ever done that before, and it was brought in. And you see, what we lack in most African nations is we don't have plans. If you come up with plans, look, this is not about budget for a year, but we are having plans that will last maybe 5 years. We have 30 years, which will maybe the long-term plan, and we have medium plan. And if it is pursued, it is done appropriately, and it is pursued appropriately too, this is where it's going to land us. And that is where we have the MDG and the SSG, the Millennium. Exactly. That is what they aim at, and is yielding results if it is pursued tenaciously.
Okay, that brings me to this question, of course, about your presidential candidates.
Oh, yes.
Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu,
yes.
Who is contesting for
president, yes.
And just last week, just earlier this week, I think it was at the Chatham House.
Yes.
There was a lot of hula baloo about what happened at the Chatham House, whether what he did is right, whether he should have delegated questions or not should have delegated questions. Some said this is his style of, his own style of leadership. And some said is an innovative style of leadership. Do you think that speaks to the undecided voters who are yet to know whether to vote or not? Because there are so many undecided voters there out there. Do you think that this speaks to their mind? Because they want to hear directly. Some say we want to hear directly from him.
Okay. Well, they gave him some questions, and he answered some, and he delegated the rest to some of his people there. And what he has done is what he did is to now lay credence to his initial status, what he did when he was made the governor of Lagos State, when he gathered everyone that, look at health. He was not a medical doctor. Look at legal. He was not a lawyer. And look at engineering and so on. He was not an engineer, but he had them. Anything he was saying, if he was called upon to come and say it, and it will be whatever that those people have taught him. But to tell them that he already had with him people with the cerebral to do those things, that yes, let this person tell you. For those people that have not made up their mind, it is now a show that, yes, this is the man to follow because he has done it before. If he has not done it before, you may still be thinking that, okay, maybe, and so on and so forth. But he has done it before, and he's exhibiting it openly for them to know. If it has not been done in the Chatham House, he's telling them, look, there's no better way to do it. Why do they follow him? Because they were not there to hear what he was going to say, because they were there to tell him, yes, this is the right thing to say. And I believe what he did was quite right.
Well, that's to you.
That's to me, and that is to many people. But, of course, we have, listen, where you have people that are not disposed to one, there's nothing you do that will go down well with them. They will continue to, this is how to say it. If you had answered all the questions, they will say, no, look how we answered the question. Is that how they answer the question? So whichever way, he went his own way. What we want is results. Whichever way the results came. And he's telling us that, look, I have plans. I have ways to make sure that whatever I say becomes the truth and nothing else. So that is what he exhibited that very night.
Okay, so this question has to do with looking at, the things that Nigerians are saying, both on social media and when you meet them in physical. Some says we're tired of APC, we're tired of PDP, So did you think your party is still popular out there?
Yes, very, very popular.
And why do you think they will still vote for your party?
You need to vote for the party because it's the party to take the country to where it belongs.
They will tell you that APC made promises in 2015.
Good.
And those promises, they will tell you that majority of them were not met.
It depends on who is talking.
Okay.
It depends on who is talking. When Buhari came on board, he made promises. He said he was going to tackle the economy, he's going to fight corruption, and he's going to...
Security.
Security. And mind you, he inherited the security problem in the country. But right now, as we speak, you agree with me that the security issues has really come down because he's tackling it. And before he started tackling the security problem, he called on several other people that, look, talk to your people, talk to them. They should reduce this matter. So because when we take it on us to fight back so that they won't start to grumble. Now he's fighting back, let me put it that way. And the kind of money they're using in purchasing weapons and so on, had money that's supposed to be used for other things, for education, for health, put on top of it, on top of whatever they are using. But they are using it because they had no choice, because they were pushed into the war. No governor will say that, look, I'm handicapped. Because we have insecurity problem. No government will do that. And the corruption, of course, don't let me belabor the issue of corruption. When Buhari said, I hate corruption, everybody would agree with him that he quite hates it as much. And at the economy, look, the infrastructural development that has been happening in this country, none has ever happened before he came on board. They are having the Niger Bridge. They're going to commission it very soon. And everywhere you have the presence of the federal government working. So whatever promises he has made, he's making good those promises. We may have some other things coming in and so on and so forth. But for the promises made by Buhari, I believe he has lived up to the expectation on that.
All right. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
Senator Ganiu Solomon, of course, who is the Director General of APC in Lagos State, for talking to us on some of the things that Governor Sanwo-Olu will be doing if re-elected. That is, if re-elected.
He will be re-elected.
Welcome back. From all indications, the governorship election in Lagos State will be one to watch for. This as the candidates vying for the governorship position are out and about town on daily canvassing for votes. For the candidate of Labour Party, Gbadewo Road Survivor, he says he's on a mission to recover the mortgage future of Lagos. He joins me in the studio. Thank you, Mr. Gbadewo.
Thank you for having me.
After so many calls.
I'm here.
No, you're here. Okay, so first, let's talk about politics before we go into governance.
Okay.
I want to get your thought on something first. Do you feel, before you left PDP, because I remember that I came to cover that particular primaries.
Yeah.
Do you feel betrayed by the agreement that what was heard by your party, your then party, rather, that they were going to give you the governorship, this deputy governorship?
It's not even so much about that. I mean, there was an agreement and it was reneged on, right? So whether I feel betrayed or not is not really. There was an agreement and it was reneged on. And I must say for history that this was not, I was not excited to be deputy governor. I ran to be governorship candidate of the PDP and then governorship candidate of governor of Lagos. So it was something where you listen to your elders, you listen to leaders in the party, an agreement was made and it was broken, and I moved forward.
Do you feel after the emergence of Jide as Dr. Jide as the PDP flag bearer, do you feel going into 2023, now you are the flag bearer for Labour Party, do you feel any threats because you were of the same party before? Do you feel any threat from that part?
No, I cannot. There are friendships, there are relationships. Politics about trust, about friendships, about relationships. These are people that I know very well, right? And I'm also in a new party where I'm building those friendships and relationships. But the most important thing are the voters. The most important elements in all of this are the voters, the people. Who are the people behind? Who are the people that are going to come out and not be looking for money on the day of election? And those people are with us in Labour Party.
Let's talk about how you emerge as Labour Party candidate. And some have also said that, you can win, for anybody to win Lagos, that means your party must be a very structured party. Even, PDP, who have some sort of structure in Lagos, have not been able to win the governorship seat in Lagos in the last over 20 years. Do you think that your party can, upturn the over 20 years reign of APC in Lagos?
I believe my party is from the next government in Lagos State, and this is why. You see, structure is very important where there's voter apathy, because the party has to do a lot of work. The party also has to buy votes. That's really what the structure comes down to. The people that they give resources to buy votes or to intimidate people or things like that. When you have a situation where you have a lot of people... Well, I'm a politician. We all know what the reality is.
All right, so
when you have a lot of people that have not left politics to politicians, you have a lot of people that are coming out. They are mobilizing without being mobilized. You now have a situation where, as a party, your main structure is to absorb these people. And that's what we are doing. So I understand that structure is important when the game is just left to politicians, but we are creating a new politics. The people have created a new politics. They are carrying on, right? And they are engaged, they are woke. It's not a situation where you see voter apathy, like we had 16% or 17% of registered voters produced the candidates in the last election. That's not what's going to happen this time. We're going to find that at least 2 million new voters are going to come to the ballot in this next election. And where voter apathy does not exist, rigging and the regular things that they've been doing in the past will not have a place there in that election.
What's your top priority? Let's now go to governance. What's your top priority if indeed you are elected as a governor of Lagos State?
Well, the first thing would be to create, I guess the summary statement would be to make Lagos State the commercial capital of Africa.
But some will tell you that Lagos is already commercial hub of Africa.
No, Lagos State is
the fourth now, according to the
GDP.
It's the fourth
largest
economy
GDP.
In Africa.
But Lagos State ranks lower than Kaduna in terms of ease of doing business. Ranks number 19. For a commercial capital, that's appalling. Lagos State could change the world, but it's stuck in traffic. You have people that are sitting there in 4 hours traffic every day. Imagine if, as a businessman in Lagos, you could have multiple meetings. Imagine how much more productive you'll be. Imagine how much higher our GDP will be if people could move things properly from the wharf to the selling point and back again without all that traffic. Lagos State is what it is currently because of the industrious, hard-working, innovative people that live here. Imagine if they had a city where they could flourish and they were enabled. We'll be number 1. We have no business being number 5. And we've been at this number for so long. Also, for the last decade.
We're talking about Africa.
Yes. For the last decade, Lagos State has ranked the second worst livable city in the world. Right? In 1966, Lagos State was ranked one of the best cities in the world. So we've fallen we've fallen significantly. So for me, like I said, I think that sums it up best because it ties into the transportation infrastructure. that we're going to deliver. It ties into government relationships with the people that they are serving in terms of transparency and accountability. It also ties into human capacity development and how much we invest in that, not just in education, but healthcare as well. And it ties into a decentralized development agenda for Lagos State. So all these things will allow for commerce to thrive and for people to be able to earn a better standard of living and a better quality of life.
Okay, so some people will say that Lagos are already doing the things that you talked about. It might not be at that optimal level, but some persons will say they're already doing it. So my question is, what will be the difference? The difference in what we currently have now if you are elected?
Yes.
Because you know why I said so? You talked about, doing the ease of business, you can have meetings. They will tell you technology has made it more easier. I can have my meetings on different platforms. I can be in the comfort of my house and have my business meeting. But I'm saying, what will be the difference from what we have currently now to what you are bringing on board?
Well, first, there will be efficiency and transparency. You see, this is extremely important because people don't realize how much as a state we lose because of lack of transparency and accountability. From 2000, when the governor then budgeted about 8 billion naira for roads and only did about 6.8 kilometers of road, the funds then, according to World Bank benchmark, could have done 98 kilometers of road. So for every bridge that we have and we clap, we could have had 4. So we are instilling transparency and accountability. We are opening up Lagos State accounts. The contracting, the project implementation, we are opening it up line by line items so that the people can see. But even more, you see, we're talking about Lagos. Lagos State does things, but Lagos State runs a government of tokenism, right? It's taking 23 years to do 16 kilometers of rail. But this government had a plan of 160 kilometers. Now, are we going to, if you do that kind of calculation, how many more years will it take to get 160 kilometers? But in this same Nigeria, they did 175 kilometers of rail, Lagos to Ibadan, for 1.2 billion. You already know controversy that the Chinese railway reported 100 and something million for it. Lagos State on its books is saying 1.2 billion. So transparency and accountability. So there are no controversies about how much money the state is allocating to projects and implementing these things. Also, we're not going to pay lip service to water transportation. We're going to make it the norm. We're going to dredge our waterways properly, create embankments, and bring back ferries. Proper ferries, not these small boats that are moving, that people are concerned about their safety using water transportation. And we're going to bring it into our community. I'm an architect, so I think of this thing in terms of systems. You cannot say you want people to use water transportation and you don't bring it into their everyday life. In the developments, in the design of the jetties, in the normalization of the ferries that you are bringing in. I mean, during Jack Conde's time, ferries were moving on Lagos waterways. And more than that, we are going to have a state that is accountable to its people, truly accountable. No, you're not going to be any controversy that this person is taking these monies out, right? All funds are going to be used to make the welfare of Lagosians much better, especially affordable housing, especially the transparency and accountability that will be endemic in that system, right? So people can transparently get a multi-income housing. So the idea of it, what we're going to bring that's different is, because of the transparency and accountability we are bringing, we are going to be able to do projects much faster, and we are going to get Lagosians the best deal, because we'll benchmark all our projects to the World Bank benchmark, and our goal will be to do it even cheaper and set a benchmark of quality for the projects that we're also going to deliver.
When you were talking about Lagos should have had a rail, it took them almost like 16 years to do that. Don't forget, during Jack Conde, they wanted to construct a rail. Yeah.
And then Buhari stopped it.
Exactly. So it might not totally be their fault. So it takes a lot. I'm just saying it takes a lot to do that kind of heavy project. It takes a lot. But let me take you on this. What's your take on taxation in Lagos? Do you think that Lagosians are overtaxed?
I believe that we need to expand our tax bracket, our tax net, and I believe people must have direct incentives to the taxes that they pay. You must be able to say, I pay tax, and this is the direct benefit that I am getting. You see, Norway, Nordic countries pay almost 40% of their income on taxes, but they can see directly what they're getting. Healthcare insurance, access to affordable housing, a social welfare net. None of these things exist in Lagos, and that is one of the major problems. Also, there's still taxation, where you have multiple taxation on people in the markets. There's no direct benefit for it. In fact, you're even charged. They clean their market themselves. They provide all the things, all the amenities that they need for it themselves, but they're constantly paying monies that they cannot explain why they should be paying. And this is affecting everybody. The women in the markets in Lagos Island, the northerner that is selling metal scrap in Igomu, all over, everywhere. So people usually tend to do these markets are for just one group of people. Everybody is being affected. And you see, it reeks of not really caring about the welfare of these people and just extracting from them without creating an enabling environment for them to grow.
Security.
Yeah.
Security challenges are enormous, in Lagos. I don't know if you were listening to my earlier guest when I talked about the fact that, security in Lagos is something that is very paramount. Looking at different parts of Lagos where people have actually escalated that I was robbed at this particular point, I was done. What is going to be the difference into what you're bringing? Putting into consideration first, you don't control the apparatus of the police. So what is the innovation that you'll be bringing on board to make the changes of what we have in Lagos? Okay.
So first of all, the goal for my government in the first 4 years is to make Lagos City a 15-hour city, a city that runs 15 hours. By 8 years, to make it a 24-hour city. At that point, businesses will be able to truly thrive and truly benefit from being in Lagos. Now, to achieve this, security is the number one issue to solve. Now, we have a situation where you have a lot of young people in Lagos State that I call state-backed. I don't want to use the word agberos because these people they don't really have an alternative means of earning a living because the state has put them in a certain situation and they're wasting their lives and are only useful during the political season to the people that back them. And I say this, I'm an architect, right? I do construction in a simple estate. You see some people just come and say that if we don't give them any money, there's going to be problems, right? And all my workers are down their tools. Why? Because if I don't pay, when they are leaving, they will attack them. But guess what? After monies are exchanged, these same people call Alausa to come and also try and shake me down. So there's a hand-in-hand state-backed relationship. This is a personal experience that I had. We need to change all of this. The Agbero system in Lagos has to go, right? We are going to work with them as stakeholders to give them employability skills, to get them refitted to be employed in a new industry. That's one of the main issues that we have in terms of security. And also, every community in Lagos State has an informal means by which they get information. If you get robbed in Ojora, there are certain people you call, go and see that phone or computer that got stolen from you. They'll bring it out, right? And you'll be forced either to buy it back or with a lot of begging, they'll give it back to you. But these informal networks exist. We're going to formalize these networks at the local government level. And that's why local government autonomy is so important. I do not know why for the life of me, State Assembly consistently votes against local government autonomy because we need to have visionary local government chairmen because the security at that level is then tantamount to the security of Lagos State as a whole. So we take these informal networks, consistently gather this information and log all this information that's going across the state and then have an intelligent digital surveillance, ring of surveillance across the entire state. But this will be tied directly to the Commonwealth of Lagos vision that I have, which is a registered card. As long as you're an informal or formal taxpayer, you have the right to be part of the Commonwealth of Lagos. It gives you direct benefits to your taxes that you can tell. I have primary healthcare insurance because I pay my taxes. And then in that process of registration, your biodata will be collected, pictures will be taken from multiple angles so that the intelligent camera gathering network will be able to place and be able to identify the different people. So these are the systems that allow for a more secure Lagos, right? But also we'll partner with the police. Lagos State has partnered with police, right? I've seen governors that have given them resources, giving them tools to be able to make their work more efficient. I will continue that. And I will also improve on those relationships and also push for more people to be recruited into police force, for more people to be recruited into our own agencies in the state, and put the push on to push for state police.
Let me get back to this. Your own presidential candidate, Peter Obi, some say that's why you some. Some say it's on his popularity that you are gathering to run on the platform of Labour Party. How do you react to that?
Peter Obi is extremely popular. He's somebody that has built so much goodwill, and he's someone that I aspire to. He's somebody that I look up to, and you know, he has hacked this system of taking money out of politics. Peter Obi is not spending money, gathering rallies and everything. He's going to people and addressing people. He's attending debates. He's attending interviews, right? So he made himself popular not because he used one soap to wash his body. He made himself popular by going out to talk to people, like how I'm here sitting down with you, right? Going to meet people and engage with them. And that's something that I find very inspiring. You know, it's not about, I have all this money, so I'm going to buy my way into office. Or I have all these agburos and all these networks, so I'm going to intimidate my way into office. He's coming, he's preaching love, he's preaching empathy. Every value that I hold, and I believe that the politician and the leader of Nigeria should be, in terms of the qualities, he embodies it. So if people are saying that I'm riding on that, I'm also working, I'm following his footsteps, right? If you say I'm a junior Peter Obi, I take that as a compliment, right? And it's something that I aspire to. He's a fantastic man, and I believe that as a leader, we need to bring love back into our politics. Abe Macaulay had love, Awolowo had love, Azikiwe had love. For somewhere along the line, I think after the military incursion, we lost it. We started getting rulers over us. We started thinking that it's okay to be oppressed, right? If a politician comes in here to say and does not have mopo and praise singers, you say he's not a serious politician. But why do you want somebody to be walking around with all of that, you know? So we need to restore that, and that's what Peter Obi embodies, and I think he's truly remarkable.
My last question to you is, what's your take on youth involved in politics? 2023 is just around the corner.
It is, and I feel that they've woken up. You saw what happened in 2020. I feel that voter apathy has gone out the way, and they are the ones that are affected by all of these things. They're affected by the loans that are taken. They're affected by bad governance, bad jobs, you know, all of that. So they need to be involved. They need to get involved, and I've been pushing this for a long time under our Lagos program. And I'm telling you, you're going to be very surprised how many youth are going to come out to vote in the next election.
All right, thank you very much. That is Rhodes Vival, the Labour Party candidates for the governorship in Lagos State. Okay, join us next week as we bring you stories happening in the world of politics. But don't forget to watch the repeat of this program by 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. tomorrow. Thank you. My name is Ademola Lawrence.